G'day listeners and welcome back to another episode of the Keeper League podcast. We're the AFL Fantasy podcast that doesn't talk about the superstars. We only talk about less knowns and the players that'll bring value to your draft and Keeper League team. My name's Heff and this week I am joined by Matty D'Sena. Welcome back to the podcast, mate. How's everything going?
Yeah, good, mate. Thanks for having me.
Good to... Was it a pleasure, mate?
Yeah, not to be in a moon boot now, so we're back to sort of walking, which is good.
Yeah, you weren't limping up the driveway this week. I didn't have to help you to your car this week.
Yeah, exactly. At least it wasn't bucketing like it was last time. I was slipped over, so yeah, it's good.
I'm glad you're on the mend and things are going good for you. How's the Keeper League team going? You in some finals action or you're out?
Nah, I'm in, so I've finished third. I was sitting top two, and then Nick Martin and Setterfield lost me that game. I've lost two of my last three. So yeah. I got Josh Kelly, he's injured. Tom Mitchell got dropped. So I'm limping to the finals. But yeah, sitting third. I
don't feel as bad now about my team. I lost Doc and Miles Bergman last week. And I actually made a conscious effort to pick up a couple extra defenders because I felt like I would at least lose Doc. And I thought I might lose Lloyd as well, given that he was like on the verge of best 22.
Yeah, he got dropped the other week, didn't he?
Yeah, a few weeks ago. But he's reinvented himself as a forward, and they're kind of happy with it.
Amazingly.
Yeah, they're kind of happy with his game at the moment. I think, judging by the supporters and the rhetoric from all the newspaper articles and stuff like that. So I might be safe there. But if I lose one more defender, I'm screwed. So yeah.
I'm fielding Ollie Hollands and Sam Banks as my D4 and D5 at the minute.
Well, that's not too bad. I'd probably prefer. I've got Iden and
I got Iden as well as my D3.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe not as great. Yeah, Banks is scoring pretty well though. So.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Anyways, you've been tracking the rookies throughout this season, or the draftees that are coming into the draft.
Been following them pretty closely.
Yeah. Anything standing out? Any specific players you've been looking forward to? A few have been playing VFL last few weeks.
Yeah. So Sam, I'm probably gonna say his last name wrong. Sam Grill or Sam, it's Grilj.
Yeah,
I think it's like Grilj. Yeah.
Grilj.
He played for Richmond on the weekend, got 90. Dursman played for Melbourne last week, got 80. And then, Annabelle and a few Gold Coast, like Zeke Euland, he's playing VFL.
Yeah.
But the one for me, I really like Jacob Farrow from Western Australia, little half-backer. So I think he'll probably be like top 20-ish around the mark. So he just looks like he racks it up, though. So
a few names there to look out for in the draft. Did you say, is it Annabelle or Annabelle?
Annabelle.
Is he Lions?
Yeah, Lions Academy.
Yeah, so they're going to have Ashcroft, and Annabelle in 3 years.
Yeah, the A team.
Yeah.
Not even 3 years, honestly. He's a weapon. He played VFL this week as well. I think last week got 100. They're going to be stacked.
It just seems really fair that the perennial top four side, reigning premier, gets three of the best draft picks in 3 years.
And then you throw in Marshall and Jasper Fletcher.
Yeah,
and,
good on you, AFL. Keeping it real.
Yeah,
Where Port don't have access to Dougie Cochran yet.
True.
ANGA,
but you do have Stephen Salopek and David Roden, father-sons, coming in a couple of years.
Just because they've got the name, though, doesn't mean they're that good.
Yeah,
at least we know Dougie is like kicked four in the
first half.
Yeah, last week.
Looks like an absolute weapon.
Yeah, we still don't have access to him. Anyway.
You just need a key defender, I think, more than anything.
True. I'm just like to raid the draft the same way some of those, Northern States teams do. But they'd be playing rugby otherwise, apparently, so that's the case.
They would be. It's more because they get...
I'm sure Will Ashcroft would be playing rugby otherwise,
Yeah. I think it's just because they get father-sons and academy. You know what I mean? So it just makes it... You can double dip.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's fair.
Because if they weren't Fitzroy and they were just Brisbane, then they wouldn't...
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, these boys would because their old man played for...
There is the romance behind the father-son. But anyway, I'll stop bitching about academies and father-son rules and compromise draft, and we'll get on with the...
this whole draft's... I think maybe like 5 out of the top 20 aren't academy or father-sons.
Makes me feel better about trading a first-round pick this year.
Yeah.
But anyway, onto the Hoofers. Big news. I'm sure everyone's really interested about my Keeper League team, so we'll walk through what happened on the weekend. So in the Port, I'm in 3 leagues. The Port leagues with the league with all the guys I go to the footy Port games with. Went out straight sets, finished top.
Perfect.
And lost both games. I think I had 8 or 9 outs in total this week. So I copped... Tom Mitchell, Matty Roberts, there was a few others. Then I had Doc retire on me. I haven't had Brent Daniels all season, Kitty Coleman all season. There was someone else that I had Warple who got subbed out. Like he was my replacement mid. Yeah, well. Rory Laird rested this week. There was just so many where I just copped.
You couldn't write that script, could you? That's a stitch up.
Yeah, you finish top and then you get to the prelim and half your team's out. Not much you can do about that. But that said, the guy who beat me, Macca, his team was pretty red hot anyway. Like he's put out some big scores the last 3 weeks. So
he's humming.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm hoping he wins the flag anyway. My rival's in the grand final. He beat me last week. So, yeah, I'm hoping Macca gets up. So, yeah, good
Hopefully
luck to Macca out there. But, yeah, Shiva had a week off. And after all my bitching and moaning about the home league and the close losses that are going to cost me a top 2 spot, the team that has been top all year lost their last 2 games of the season and finished third, pushed me up to second.
Look at that.
So, yeah, I got a week off.
It's meant to be.
Got a week off this week. And, yeah, I'm pretty happy about it too, because I would have had to come up against the guy who's got Nasiah Wanganeen-Millera at the moment, and they got Richmond this week, and that could be an absolute monster score. And my probably best captain option is probably Grundy at the moment. And
he's been on absolute fire.
They got the Lions this week, who are a tough ruck opposition. So I was a bit worried about just having a good captain score, where I thought like Nasiah Wanganeen-Millera was going to put up 300 points on me no matter what. So now I just don't have to worry about it, and it's a bit of relief, really.
Just stress-free operation for the weekend.
Correct. Just put the feet up and monitor the other scores, and then see how we go from there. But yeah, so yeah, got a week off there. I'm looking forward to the Shiva prelim, because if I win that, I'm in the grand final. Then could be on to Champions League if that's the case. I've never done that before in Shiva, so be pretty happy to do that.
That'd be nice. In our league, it's obviously top 4. We've got 3 blokes who never won a flag before, and one guy's making finals for the first time, and then you got me trying to go back to back. So, yeah, interesting times in our league as well.
Yeah, are the others do the others get around you, or do they want you to lose?
No, they want me to lose.
Yeah, that's what I
and
thought.
everyone else who's won a flag, they refuse to trade with me.
Yeah,
just because they don't want me to get 2. They're trying to help the other boys.
Yeah, okay.
Get there first. So one guy's made finals for the first time in 6 years.
So you're pushing shit uphill, really.
Yeah, and my team's limping as well.
Anyway, all right, let's get on to the round review. We had Western Bulldogs versus GWS on the Thursday night. Aaron Norton's now too good for the podcast. 3 big scores in a row. We were talking about like a few weeks ago how one of Darcy or him goes big each week. They've been going big together over the last few weeks. I guess there was no Buckley this week. They were a little bit undermanned in defence, but GWS didn't show any fight, did they?
Nah, and they got smashed around the ball, so then they're just delivering it on an absolute platter to a beautiful lead.
Yeah.
So, he looks good when Darcy plays. Like, I think the numbers, like 7 AFL showed on Friday night, like he's kicking bags since Darcy's back. So
yeah,
it's good for him.
Which is unusual because before that they weren't really doing that, but now it's kind of working together. So
I think maybe Jamara in the mix as well.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Then Connor Iden for the Giants. He had 92 points.
Yeah,
he's just, our man. He's had a good season so far. I think he's averaging close to the mid-70s now.
Yeah.
And so he's running at my D5 position at the moment. But the only issue with him, he has to play tall. Like a couple weeks ago, he played on Jeremy Cameron, and like neither of them touched the footy.
Yeah, not a fair with that.
Yeah, but when he gets the kind of loose role or he can take a few marks in defence and stuff like that, he goes okay. So that's, if he played that role every week, he'd probably be an 80-plus average guy. But
I just think you just watch the matchup, and then if you think he's going to play tall, you maybe stream him, and depends when they play. But I got him on my team as well. So
yeah. Anyways, just a shout out to him. Good on you, our boy. Onto the Crows versus the Hawks game. You were at the game, weren't you?
Yeah.
Heartbroken.
Good start.
Yeah.
Very good start.
I watched the first half at the Casino the District, which is a favourite pub of ours. It's in the casino, but it's more of a bar that's in there.
Rooftop bar.
Rooftop bar, and it's got like a big screen, and I reckon it's the best place in the city of Adelaide to watch footy, I think, just because
especially when Geordie's playing on stage as well.
Yeah, exactly. Geordie has a few gigs there. And there's a few good pubs around Adelaide, but not in the central, like in the heart. So that's kind of like why it's a good kind of house spot. But anyway, I watched the first half, but then went and saw a band called Speed on Friday, which is like a Sydney hardcore band. So I want to give a shout out to them. They're so good. So much energy. They're supporting this other big band called Turnstile, a US band, on their American tour. So they're an Aussie band, so we're like, we'll go see them and see how they go. So check out Speed. That's my music recommendation of the week.
I'll have to have a look.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Dayseeker. Then.
Oh, yeah. Sweet. Yeah,
a couple of new songs coming out.
Yeah, nice. Anyways, let's get into the game. Alex Neil-Bullen. Now he's another one who's too good for the podcast. Now, we've been saying for weeks, there's no way he can sustain this.
I was going to drop him before I got that 100.
Yeah.
And then I kept him just because I had injuries. And then I think it's to do with, it's weird, the tougher the game, the better he plays with he's just tackles and contested player. So
yeah, although he did against the Port Adelaide, who were terrible. Put up an even bigger score.
Port Mints are hard to score against. Oh, that's a showdown. I reckon that's an exception to the rule.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, fair.
And it was wet, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of tackles and...
Yeah, I don't know if a 98-point showdown win is an exception to the rule.
But no, maybe it is, because normally they're pretty close.
Yeah, true. Well, my big question about all the Crows at the moment anyway is Matt Crouch has been dominating the twos the last few weeks. Do you see him getting into the side? And if so, who drops for him?
It's Sam Berry, isn't it, really? Like, they're not going to play Sam Berry and Crouch because they're the same sort of inside.
They were the kind of players that swapped afterwards.
I think as long as Sam Berry's playing well, he's playing twos.
Yeah, I think
Nixie will reward his form. Although maybe come finals,
Yeah.
maybe they want to lean on a bit more experience of Crouchy.
They got West Coast this week, so I reckon Crouch comes in regardless, just to give him a bit of a run and see how he goes. And if he puts up a good performance, he might be sticking around. So, yeah, I'd be nervous if I was a Berry owner, maybe even a Peatling owner as well. Just kind of might be pushed back down the pecking order a little bit.
Because Crows don't really tag, do they? If they do, Neil Bullen sort of does a job.
Yeah. So might be the case there. Onto the Hawks. Josh Battle's probably a tip of the cap, 92 points, but he is one of the better scoring key defenders.
Definitely.
In the comp, so just a bit of a shout out to him. He had 22 kicks and 8 marks against a tough opposition in a tough game. So
yeah, I just think the way Hawthorn trying to move the ball against Crows' zone, a lot of switches, so
yeah, that kind of helps.
Kind of works out when he's just that middleman when Sicily kicks it in and then kicks it to Scrimshaw or Amon or
of course,
something like that.
The Will Day injury is too good for the podcast, obviously, but what's the flow-on effect here? Does, John Newcomb's been a bit quiet since he comes back. Does he bump back up, or does Warple come back into the side after being the sub? What's your take there?
Well, I reckon Newcomb's been carrying a calf,
and
he's been, last 3 weeks, I own him as well, so he's been shocking on my field. Warple's sub, so you'd assume he'd maybe get a bump, Nash gets a bump, maybe Mackenzie or Huswaite come back.
Yeah.
I think they sort of keep the mix as it is. Warple will just come in and they'll just bring a kid, and I reckon he'll be sub. Yeah,
I've noticed Mackenzie had a bit of a bump on the keeper waiver numbers this week. So.
He got a 90 in the VFL. But it's weird. Hawthorn haven't had a debutant this year.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, it's like round 21. We're still yet to have a debutant.
Get the beast from the East End.
Yeah, I know.
Cody Anderson. Love that guy. But yes, anyway, there's going to be something happening there. But I think Warple owners will probably be happy that he's back in the side.
Then I watched Woody come on. Warple does so many good things, and then he does so many just simple mistakes sometimes. And
he's not there for his skill and grace.
Yeah, and like if that he's out of contract, he's saying he's going to go to Geelong. I think Hawthorn just go like, this is what we're going to offer you, and if you leave, you leave. Yeah,
I think if that's the case, you probably want to pump his value up a bit as well, though.
True, so maybe he'll get the bump in CBAs.
Hopefully.
Maybe I was thinking Hawthorn should trade Will Day for Butters.
Yeah?
And then Will Day retires because his foot's cooked.
I don't know. I'd rather somehow get Nazire Wangan and Miller on the end of that one. But
true.
Anyway, Massimo D'Ambrosio, 84 points. Brought him back to the podcast this season. He's had back-to-back 80s. Is there anything different with his game, or just, good opposition, good matchups?
I think just good matchups, really. Still playing that outside wing role.
Was Cumming playing on the weekend? Was he out?
No, he played on the weekend. I didn't really see him.
Maybe. Yeah, I was just thinking maybe there's a few. They do play that other kid on the other wing. What's his name? Is it Cook?
Yeah, Braden Cook, or is it Bond?
I can't. Huey Bond. He was in the. Oh yeah, he's that.
Zach Taylor. There's so many. They all look the same.
I know. There's so many Crows players. But anyway, they do have an inexperienced winger, which might have been a bit of a case as well. So
because Curtin's been out there a little bit. As well.
Yeah, true. But he kind of plays everywhere.
He went inside.
Yeah.
He's turning into something very.
He's already too good for the podcast ages ago. Yeah, he's a freak. Onto the Demons versus West Coast game. I'm really struggling with the lunchtime games or the midday games recently, so didn't see too much of this one. We'll tip the cap to Harry Petty with 93 points, 3 goals against a very easy opposition. I just want to pat myself on the back for Cade Chandler as well. 81 points. He was one of my streamers of the week. And the reasoning behind this was West Coast are giving up points to outside players, so half forwards and wingers in particular. So the Crows this week look for Cumming maybe to have a bit of a bump.
Outside players.
Probably Neil Bullen again as well.
Eagles just suck, man.
They're awful.
I just don't understand how they're so bad.
What do you make of Jai Carly's game? So he had the 78 points. He's the second most requested player, I think, this week in keeper.
Yeah.
Kicked 2 goals. Bit of a revenge game as well, but do you think it's sustainable? He's got the Dogs next week, which is a tough matchup.
Nah, I don't reckon.
No.
I think he's just that, especially playing high half forwards, such a tough role.
The revenge game.
Yeah, I think he's. And Eagles, they did his knee and then they delisted him, did they?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So I think he, his first game back in a while. First game for Melbourne, pretty sure. So
the positive, maybe just for keep leagues, like if you play Dynasty, you've got him for next year and he might make something of himself in the future type thing.
Forward status.
That too, that's handy. Campbell Chesser played his first game of the season, I believe, with 70 points. Plays out in that wing. I've never been a huge fan of him, but
nah, neither.
Just watch and see if he backs it up. I think that's the big thing there. Onto the Suns versus Richmond, another dead rubber. Well, just a nothing game, really.
So maybe it's good these are Saturday Arvo games.
Yeah, maybe that was
watching.
Yeah. Mac Andrew had 103 points, 11 marks and kicked the goal. A very easy opposition, so I'm not getting too excited about that. Now, I got a message on the Discord saying Joel Jeffrey broke his 1-3 streak.
So I remember you saying that every 3 games you just got to stream, you just got to pick the right one.
But apparently he'd done it already according to the Discord. But it's more of an average thing, you know. It's not like every 1-3. It's not perfect. It's more you know, on average he'll go big 1-3 weeks, you know. But it was good to see him get back-to-back good scores as well. What are your thoughts about Ethan Reid? I was big on him as a junior, but I'm not as much. What do you think?
No, I like him a lot. I just maybe not as a scorer, but then I guess the way the game's going a little bit, these forwards are, you know, everyone's looking for these mid-forward rucks that can just run around and be unicorns, and there's now the unicorns.
He does fit the mould.
No longer unicorns because there's so many of them.
I think with because obviously you're referring to Darcy and Thilthorpe there though.
Yeah, and Luke Jackson's probably the...
Yeah, but like those guys were like legitimate rucks when they were... Oh, sorry, they were legitimate. Well, maybe not Jackson as much, but the other two were probably like legitimate key forwards.
Yeah,
coming
correct.
in. He was more of like a legitimate ruck.
Yeah, in his draft year, they were saying his running ability was he's like Jackson more as he's a midfield ruck rather than a ruck forward.
Yeah, but you're right though. He does fit the mold of that athletic, very tall. If the game keeps going the way it does, he progresses in the way it does in his 3rd year, he could be one to look out for next year. So
yeah, definitely. But they got Ben King, Max King.
Ben King. It's definitely Ben.
Yeah, I was going to say. He looks like the number 1 forward with Walter, and then Ethan Reid's going to be that 3rd tall forward / backup ruck. So he might spend bulk minutes on the bench, or depending on the mix. But I think one to watch for sure.
The next one on the list is Jai Farah. Again, because I didn't see this game either. 88 points. I still haven't watched him yet, but he keeps scoring. It looks like he's playing forward, according to all the heat maps, and he's kicking goals and all that sort of stuff. What do you think's going on with him?
Well, is Ben Long playing?
Yeah, I think he is.
I think his numbers have been down.
Yeah, I think last week he was good, but anyway.
I think they play this similar role, like that high half forward, roll up, press, run. Yeah. And then they get on the end of a few, especially when they absolutely smash teams.
I feel like when a player like him comes in playing forward as well, they might put a lot of attention into the kind of established guys. And someone like him gets off the chain and it takes 1 or 2 weeks before the opposition kind of go, oh, hey, they're actually targeting Farah here. Like, let's, man up on him a bit more.
Think of all the hype that Long got at the start of the year, so then you put work into him as a half back, and then Farah just has a little couple cheapies.
Yeah. So, I don't know. He could be too good for the podcast next week, but we'll see what happens because he's got back-to-back good scores. And we'll tip the cap to Sam Collins with his 85 points on the back of 9 marks. And there was not one Richmond player worth talking about in this game. So
I think Banks got 100.
He's already too good for the podcast.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. No one else really showed anything.
Nah. On to Sydney versus the Bombers. Tip the cap to Dane Rampy with his 12 marks. You take over 10 marks, you score 100. That's the
how it works, isn't it?
Yep. Angus Sheldrick had 80 points. In a 12-team league, a 12-keeper league, would you be keeping someone like him? He's showing signs.
Yeah, I reckon. Because I look at Sydney's mids, Rowbottom, Heaney, Goulden. I think there's a role for him there because Goulden's probably more outside. He's got the water polo background, the old Sheldrick. So in and under mid, I think they need more of that, Sydney. So I think definitely he's going to continue to grow. I
think the big thing for him was Mills kind of coming back but not playing midfield as well. Like I thought that was going to really hurt him, but hasn't so far. So
I think Mills is better at halfback.
I think so too. Andrew McGrath as well. He's kind of back to podcast this year, but he's had 92 points playing in the midfield. So all of a sudden he's like someone people were benching a few weeks ago.
He got dropped in our league.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So anyone pick him up?
Yeah.
Well, you did?
Nah, not me. I think the guy finished 9th dropped him, and the guy finished 8th picked him up.
Oh, spewing. But anyway, he's back. He's on field type again. He scored like a lot late in the game though, because I was watching a matchup and it seemed like he wasn't really doing much until the 4th quarter.
It was the same the week before as well. He just sort of rolled around, did nothing, and then when the game was pretty much done, he just got a few cheapies. And
he was the only one for Essendon to score over 80, so that's how well.
It's pretty concerning, isn't it?
They're going.
As a Bombers fan.
Yeah. Then Collingwood versus Brisbane, pretty good match, this one. All of the non-too good for the podcast players for Collingwood were rubbish. How good was Logan Morrisseau?
He's a star, isn't he? But one thing that annoys me is how they do, they do those redrafts.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, he should go and pick 3 or 4. I was like, well, if the number 1 pick went to Brisbane, you look at their team, I think they would still do pretty well.
Yeah.
Rather than walking into the worst side in the comp, but he looks great.
And that's the thing with some of these kind of, redrafts and reclassifications and whatever they do. Like, just because someone goes to that club doesn't mean they're going to be the same player.
Exactly.
When they go to the club slightly the same, have the same development, have the players around them that can bring them into the game. Like, it doesn't work like that.
So if Logan Morris went to West Coast, would he be doing this? I'm thinking probably not.
The ball wouldn't even come.
But if Harley Reid went to Brisbane, I reckon he'd go pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. So it's stupid. So there's no point in making
it. Not to shoot him down. He's performing and looks great, and he looks like he's going to be,
Well, he could be in the conversation with those other key forwards we're talking about as well, like Ethan Reid and that, and then Sam Darcy and Thilthorpe and those guys coming up. Like, he could be... Like, it feels like key forwards have just become irrelevant again because there's just no one else good. Like, it's finally gotten to that point where they're on par with the good players again. So
yeah, I just think was it to do with zones or the stand rule or, ball movement? Is ball movement now so fast and quick that you can't get set defensively, and most key forwards are going to probably win a one-on-one on the lead.
Yeah.
And that allows them to take more marks and kick more goals kind of thing.
And I think as well, like, if you just look at the top mids these days, they rest on the bench and they don't go forward as much, so they're not getting that forward status too. So those bits and pieces are happening.
A couple of years ago we had Taranto, Treloar, all those forwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then Sam Marshall only had the 38 points, but I'm just happy to see him get a good game because I reckon he's going to be one for the future.
Yeah, definitely. Loves to run. Loves to chip. He just needs consistent role. That's all.
Yeah, just needs to be in the side, really. St Kilda versus North Melbourne. Hunter Clark. I don't really know what's going on with him. He's kind of played a variety of roles this season, but scored 83 points. I think he's got forward status at the moment. So
I reckon he got it in keeper, yeah. But not in...
Yeah, that's right.
Classic.
I thought Ross Lyon hated him.
Same.
But, he's back in the side, so he's doing it right at the moment. So
yeah. Well, I saw Darcy Wilson got like a 130 in the VFL, and Philippou played and stuff. So be battling for spots. Just be good for Saints, really. Yeah,
definitely. And then George Wardlaw for the North Melbourne had a good showing, the high tackle numbers and that, but I'm not sure he's going to be the ceiling fantasy player that everyone thought. I remember doing a podcast with Stevie Fizz, and he was kind of outraged by how low I was on him. But it was more just vibe at the time. I didn't really have any hard and fast facts or numbers or figures or anything. It was just what I felt at the time. But I saw this article the other week saying that the modern midfielder is more of an outside player these days.
100% agree that most teams look for outside mids as well, rather than your in and under.
And he's purely that in and under. So
yeah, it just doesn't spread, and they don't need him to because they've got LDU, they've got Power, they've got Sheasel, you've got McKercher. You got so many people that can run. Why would you ask Georgie Wardlaw to do that when you can just go win out of the coalface and dish it out?
Yeah, dish it out. So he might not get those huge kind of outside numbers where he's getting marks and kicks outside. It's just purely handballs and tackles.
He'll have games where he'll go, 120, 130.
In a contested game, he'll have 10 tackles and score huge.
Yeah, but then you look at Matt Rao, he was exactly the same, and now he's starting to add a little bit more to his game. And as Gold Coast get better, there's more cheaper footies, and maybe North.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Maybe we will give him a bit more time.
But I don't think he's going to be 110, 115. I think he's just going to be a solid
100. Yeah, 90 to 100 kind of guy.
And that's fine. You need those players.
Yeah, every keeper team's got them. On to Geelong versus Port Adelaide. Shannon Neal's the first one I want to talk about. 106 points. I've got a feeling he might be in for a good sneaky couple of games because I think with Jez on 75 goals now, needs 25. So what does he need? 8 a game, about 9 a game for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So basically he needs one big bag and a couple smaller bags, really.
They're playing Essendon this Friday.
So this could be like another 10-goal game and put him back into contention. But I feel like every team's going to be putting time into Jez because they're going to be expecting the ball to go to him, where Shannon Neal will be able to pop into holes and probably kick 4 or 5 most weeks in these games as well.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
They won't be paying as much attention to him. It's kind of what happened in this game. All the focus was on Jez.
Geelong actually looked better when they weren't looking for him because
correct.
Jeremy was almost a decoy, and then some of his goals were just little handballs around the.
You're right. Dangerfield gave one off, and then you're right. So that's probably the way he's going to get it. So I'd be he's pretty well picked up on the waivers in Shiva this week, so he's one I'd be looking at.
Yeah, the guy who finished second just grabbed him.
Yeah, clever.
Last week.
No, good. We're on
use him, so
on the same page, and the other one's Jack Bowes, 101 points. He's been up and down this year. I reckon it's just more against playing against Port, against the easy opposition, but. Played forward, kicked 2 goals against a bad side, but I'd be wanting to see some more consistency from Jack Bowes, but I think that's been consistent with him over the course of his career, right?
Yeah, I would 100% agree. And then Jack Martin, I think, kicked 4 goals in 5 minutes. So
that was unreal. It's so funny because I have Jack Martin in my team, and Kays is very, very worried that I'm going to win the flag. It's quite evident that he doesn't want me to be 2 premierships ahead of him because he will never catch me type thing. And like he loves when something bad happens to my team, he'll just get on the group chat and it's like, this has happened to Heff. I'm very much in his head at the moment.
Rent free.
The first thing was, living rent free at the moment. But he was like, Jack Martin, sub, this is over for Heff's season, rah, rah, rah. And then like came on and still scored 68 points in like less like only a quarter and a bit of footy. So, and he ended up like scoring enough to actually contribute to my team over the bench. So
right. So
it actually kind of worked out well in the end. I'd love it if he just got like 2 more points and got to like 70. I reckon that would have been a good, score for Jack Martin. But I don't think he's going to be the sub again. Well, actually, maybe on that impact he will be the sub. I don't know.
Nah, I think
they're just rotating players through it.
They're playing Port, so they're just.
Humphries was Lawson Humphries was the sub last week. Like they played him this week. He turned up. Like it's not going to happen each week.
Geelong manage their players very well. And,
correct.
The only thing I would say is that I saw Chris Scott say Duncan and Guthrie and someone else are going to play VFL. So they've got a few experienced blokes coming back in. So maybe that could change their roles at all. But
the other thing this week, I think, and this is messaging your brother this morning, Geordie, saying that Geelong are on a 5-day break and they're quite prone, and they're playing Essendon and they're quite prone to resting a few players. So it might cause a bit of chaos this week.
Can't wait for Tom Stewart to be dropped.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. He might get rested this week.
He might get suspended anyway.
I did, but I don't know. Yeah,
Brandon Maynard 2.0.
Yeah, true. But Wines wasn't concussed. That was probably the difference. But we'll wait.
I think Tom Stewart did it the other week to No, he knocked out Presty a few years ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. It was a big hit.
It's pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I'll wait and see. We'll know by the end of the day, probably. But anyway, on to Port. It comes with great sadness that I announced that Jordan Sweet is now too good for the podcast.
Wow.
Yeah, he's had 3 big scores in a row, so that just makes him ineligible, unfortunately. He's a great friend of the show. He was on the podcast earlier in the year. He was sitting in that spot where you are now. But it's just sad knowing that we won't be able to talk about him anymore, really.
Yeah, well. So I'm in the royalty seat, am I?
Yeah, exactly. He's graced the presence there. But bit of a fun fact about Sweetie. He was ranked 136th for the round in Supercoach this week. And I was messaging this morning and just looking at his team here. He's got himself in his own team.
Wow.
He's got him sitting in there.
Has the faith in himself.
In the flex position. So you got to love a player that backs himself in, don't you?
100%. That means he knows he's going to perform.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'd be picking him as a ruck one in any keeper league going forward because he's the right age profile. He's like late 20s. Like that's where all the good younger ones are. He cares about his fantasy score.
Exactly. I think Soldo's on the way out as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
No one's taking his spot.
No, Vicentini's injured, but you want a player that cares about their fantasy numbers in your team. So, and if he's playing Supercoach, I think he's a good one to have in your side.
Well, fun fact, we got a fantasy comp with all the boys at footy, and the guy who finished top lost by 6 points because Sweet got 117 against him, and on the Sunday. Yeah, so he's been top all year and just got tumbled by 6 points. He got the second highest score of the round and lost to the bloke who came fourth who got the highest score. So,
Sweet the assassin.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Anyway, he had 117 points on the week, as you mentioned. Too good for the podcast. 3 big scores in a row. He's got to go. Wins hit-outs, lays tackles, and just gets enough possessions as well. So that's all you really want in a ruck.
Is that X-Area or Sweet? What's he talking about?
Yeah, pretty much. It's Sherry 2.0, really. On to the last game of the round, Fremantle versus Carlton. First one I'm going to list is Carl Warner. He's put up a few good scores this season, another 87 points on the weekend, but he has to play defensive quite a bit. And I don't know, there's just a lot of guys in that Fremantle backline that can score, right?
Yeah, there's heaps. You got Luke Ryan, Jordan Clark.
Yeah, they're the main two. And even Chapman, there's kind of guys that are very similar to him that will go good when he doesn't go good and all that sort of stuff.
Just depends on matchups and
yeah, exactly. But he's the kind of player that I would throw a late pick at, just because you've got a guy who plays each week who can be a handy loophole option, or just if one of you even though the sub rule is probably going, if you get sub affected, you've probably got him sitting on your bench who might pop up with an 80 and save your team.
Yeah, definitely.
From time to time. So yeah,
just you need the non-flashy, consistent blokes that just sort of
play each week.
Yeah, get the role done.
Yeah, exactly.
It's normally how you just like you said, just you're trying to get as many points as you can every week.
Yeah,
normally holds you in good stead.
That's the aim of the game, isn't it? Then Harry Mackay is a guy I've gone hard at on the waivers this week trying to grab. He had 90 points. I just think he's the main focal point with Kerno out, and there's something about him that just kind of on the weekend he kind of just looked like I'm the man here. He's not living in the shadow at the moment. He's like, I've got to put the team on my shoulders here and
plays better than Kerno.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
when he had that doubt around his knee, I actually traded for him.
Yeah,
because I was
trying to get him cheaper.
Yeah, I read that he was either going to try and play through it or have surgery, and the surgery was going to be 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got him sitting on my bench at the minute.
Yeah, no, I'd be throwing things at him to get him if you've got him on a waiver wire. He's unowned in our Shiva comp, so fingers crossed I'll get him. I think I've got the second highest priority though, so I might not. Depends if they go after Cully or not. But now they've said it on the podcast, they're probably going to listen and screw me over. But anyway.
Definitely they will.
Anyways, and then Cooper Lord had 87 points. I think Chera being out picked up his midfield time this week. I think he had a big CBA bump in this game as well.
I thought Williams or Ollie Hollands would get midfield time, but Lord got it instead. So I really like the way he goes about it. I think he's got a lot of potential.
The only thing is, like, I think Walsh comes back next week.
Does he?
They're planning on getting him back next week. Chera, like, it made it sound like Chera wasn't that injured as well.
Right.
It's like it could have been a 1 week thing. Future, you've got Jagger Smith coming back. Like, I know you've got probably Cripps retiring in the next probably 4 years type thing, but that's a long way away type thing.
Yeah.
There is potential there with Cooper Lord, though. He might be one of those players that just through natural progression just gets better and gets himself picked in each week and plays midfield. But
yeah, but they do have a lot of mids, so
yeah,
it makes it quite tough to be a consistent. You know, it's hard when you hold a guy and then he's in and out, or his role sucks. And
100%.
Yeah.
But anyway, good signs there. And Lockie Cowan, 76 points. I think with Doc gone, and Saad, I think potentially he's injured this week. Something happened to him in that game. I saw him coming off. I think he should score 70 pluses for the rest of the season. So I like Lockie Cowan.
I'm a big fan of Cowan. And same with Hollands, because I was looking at you look at their back line, and it's Doc, who's now retired. Saad's over 30. Nick Haynes is over 30. Nick Newman was probably the best defender they had last year, and he's over 30, come back. And he had Wiedering and a few others. So there's going to be a role there for him. And then, as you said, with Lord, natural progression gets better.
Yeah. I think he's the future of their half-back line, really.
Definitely.
And then that's the round review done and dusted. We've only got a couple questions this week. I think with most teams, like most leagues only having 2 to 4 coaches remaining, not a lot of questions coming through this time of year.
Yeah, I know. Normally this time of year, you sort of know if you're in and out of finals.
Yeah, well, it's usually, like most leagues, I'm only in one league that's only starting finals this week because we do 3 weeks of it.
Yeah, same for our keeper.
Yeah.
And other ones, it's second week of finals now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I got one that's grand final this week.
Yeah, wow.
Because it kind of works out perfectly. There's 10 teams, so there's 18 rounds.
Play everyone twice.
You play each other twice and then start the finals.
It fair,
it makes it way better.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, you play everyone twice and then you play 3 teams 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's just luck of the draw.
Yeah, right.
So I played the reigning premier. No, I'm the reigning premier. Sorry. I played the guy who finished top and 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
And like Geordie played the guy who's bottom 3 times.
We used to have like a good system where we've got rivals in our league.
Yeah.
So like we got a rivalry round. So we play our rival twice, like, the showdown gets played twice every year regardless type thing. Then the remaining, we would like even it up. So if there was 3 games remaining, we'd play one against the top third side, one against the middle third side, one against the bottom third side type thing.
So you do like a floating fixture almost?
Yeah. Well, we did back in the Ultimate Footy days. We couldn't do it with AFL Fantasy for a long time because you couldn't edit the fixtures.
Yeah.
So there was like 3 years where we didn't do it. And then this year we've kind of done it again where we almost got around twice. It's just that there was one, because we're a 12-team league. So what's that, 22 rounds. We got to round 22. And then it was just one final week that you play the top 8 side play the bottom 8 sides one less time, so it's a bit more fair. So it's a pretty fair fixture. So we actually thought about it in the way we kind of did it, and it's been great having keeper back where you can actually edit the fixture and make that.
We just do random.
And if you struggle, get ChatGPT to figure out a fair fixture for you, because it's quite good, especially the paid ones, the ones that are good at reasoning. Anyway, let's get into the listener questions. The first question comes from AFL Fantasy Qs. Should Fraser owners be worried? Has there been a role change in the last month? What are your thoughts?
I wouldn't be worried. I just think that doggies are humming and they're trying to get their best side.
He's just dropped out of the midfield, dropped out of halfback, and he's playing forward.
Yeah, but I just think that it's this time of year where Melbourne Western Bulldogs are starting to really get their best 23, 22 together, and unfortunately he's just not in the midfield or halfback consistently. He's going to be forward.
If they were in a safer spot, like if they weren't sitting 9th and had to do everything to make finals, like he'd probably be going a lot better. They'd be able to do more things with him, stuff like that. But it's just like they have to play the best players in every position, which is kind of good as like if you own players, because they're not going to be resting players and stuff like that because they like need them. Like you might get Libba go to a sub in the fourth quarter or whatever to try to give him a break. But like they'll be throwing everything at trying to make the finals.
Yeah, definitely. I just think because he's such a tough matchup with his height and whatever, playing forward and being able to roll up and then run back using his pace is probably the best position where they want him, because then you can have Johannesson and Dale off half-back. And
when you see him get the ball, you can just tell he's class. There's quality. There's still quality coming from it. It's just not the quantity that's there.
And they probably think maybe even if he touches it 10 less times, he's still probably going to have the same impact forward of the ball.
Yeah. So I'd be worried if you're relying on him for finals in your draft leagues or whatever, but for future and keeper leagues, I'm not worried at all.
Yeah, correct.
And then Jack Johnson asked, Jack Johnson, famous singer-songwriter.
Banana Pancakes.
That's the one.
My favourite song.
I heard Taylor. Is Taylor him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that at the barbers yesterday. Yeah. But anyway. What's Zorko worth? Trying to trade him for him, but don't know what to offer, and he's contending. I actually got Zorko in a trade a few weeks ago, but it kind of involved me essentially giving up Jai Caldwell for two good. It was more than that, but the kind of if I was to compare it, I would have got giving up Caldwell and got Zorko and Libba back.
It's not bad.
Yeah, so that's the kind of trade that you would do. It's more like, I reckon he's the type where if you've got any injured players for the future, he will offload and try to win a flag with.
Yeah, I've got him as well. Last year I gave up Harley Reid and a couple others, and I got him and Dusty and Cogniglio and did a big trade. So
you need to do that if you're contending.
Yeah, I think he's, anyone who's injured or just give up potential players that you'd be iffy on. Or
the thing is though, I did that trade 4 weeks ago, a month ago, and he hurt his foot. I think 3 weeks ago.
They reckon he's got Liz Frank.
Yeah, and he's just playing through it. Yeah, jabbing him up at the moment. So he's still scoring 80s and stuff, but he might not have that 100 ceiling that you want for finals, unless he can kind of get through it. So
maybe go after Jasper Fletcher.
Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah. I don't think they're going to drop him, because he needs to play every game to play his 300th at home in the last round, and I think he wants to get that.
Absolutely, will do that.
Yeah, he wants to get that done. So he'll play each week. It's just whether they can get him through.
That means you need to trade for him, because if it's his 300th in the grand final.
Yeah, exactly. So
he'll go absolutely nuts.
He will go nuts. He'll get 100 possessions that week. But
and I mean, just give up picks or, a couple of futures and.
Yeah, just do what you need to get it done, really.
But I wouldn't be trading. The hard part is when you're contending, you don't want to give up your team that's going to help you score, so you have to give up the future.
Yeah.
And it's just more what you're willing to give up to win a flag, basically.
Yep, I know that all too well. Basically, if I don't win the flag this year, I'm screwed.
Yeah, I traded my first 6 picks. So
Jeez,
my first pick's round 7.
I don't feel too bad, actually. I traded my first 2, 5, and 9, I think. So.
Yeah, I've traded 1 to 7. I've traded my 9th as well. So I've got 5 picks going into a 13-round draft next year.
The thing is, if you do these sorts of trades, you have commodities for next year.
100%.
So, my plan, I don't want my league to hear this, but they're gone in now, and they'll talk about it in the group chat or whatever. But my plan would be, hypothetically, if I owned a heap of old players that are still going around next year, you'd sacrifice next season to build for the season after. You're more likely to get future picks back, I think, than getting picks back for guys you can't keep this year. You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
Try to offload them for future stuff. Because people I feel have less attachment to draft picks in 2 years' time than they do the next season
Big
or whatever.
Time.
So that's the kind of way you.
The value changes. Right now, if you're thinking about a future second or whatever, I'll just get rid of it. But then when it comes around to draft time,
exactly,
the value of it goes up so much.
Yeah.
And especially when you have keepers, you can only keep a certain amount. And then you go, I can't trade for him because I can't keep him in my 12 or whatever. So my whole thing was, I've won the flag last year. I'm going for it again this year. I've got Gawn, I've got Zorko, I've got Tom Stewart, I've got Josh Kelly, I've got Tom Mitchell, I got all these old Luke Parker. I was like, it's now or never. And then next year I'll just try and move a couple on. Yeah. And my next year I'll be real bad.
That's I think the way my team's going to go as well. Anyways, we'll wrap it up there. Where can people find you on X these days?
Yeah, just Matty D'Sena. I put out that four-headed hawk.
That's right. AI. Yeah, that's right. Sench picked that up.
Yeah, no, he didn't post it.
Hasn't posted it yet?
Nah, I think if it didn't really work. So
damn.
Cash got subbed out at half time.
Yeah, that's right. So they didn't really play it. But anyway.
Yeah, at Matty D'Sena.
You're monitoring the juniors pretty well. So if you want some info on those guys and stuff like that, the rookies and that sort of stuff.
It's starting to heat up now. Yeah. Everyone's sort of playing VFL. Yeah. And you got other guys like Cooper Hodge or...
Why do they play VFL now? Is the talent league finished or...
Nah, still going. But
Carnival's done?
The academy, so Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sydney Giants, they only play 3 games
in the middle
of the
more
year.
time to have a look at them.
Yeah, so they play VFL in their side. it's weird. Most Victorian teams don't really play VFL until like the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas Gold Coast, they've been playing most of their blokes all year in VFL, and then they go play Talent League under 18s and come back and play VFL.
Because there was some, I can't remember, was it Jagger Smith last year that played for like 3 VFL clubs or something like that?
Yeah.
And just kind of went it floated around. And so we're starting to see that sort of stuff this time of year, and it's good fun to actually.
I think Richmond last year had so many injuries that
they just floated them in.
They just brought heaps of guys in and played.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Anyways, we'll wrap it up. Get around us at Keeper League Pod on all the socials. If you want to support the podcast, please consider becoming a member. You'll get access to all of our off-season content and pre-season content if you sign up now. You probably get it a bit cheaper as well because there'll be some natural price increases as everything I use to run the website goes up each year. I've got to factor that in. So if you sign up now, it's probably better for you as well to do so than waiting for next year if it's on your mind. And make sure you sign up to our YouTube channel where you can watch a video version of this podcast each week. We'll leave it there. Matty, thank you so much for coming on.
No worries, mate. Thanks for having me.
We'll talk to you next week. See you later.